In this episode of Filmstock Reviews, I'm reviewing Return of the Jedi, or Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. This was directed by Richard Marquand and a screenplay by Lawrence Kasdan and George Lucas with a story by George Lucas. Now, this is a sequel to Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back, and once again, 3 years in 1983, May of 1983, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, May of 1983, this movie came out. It is the third installment in the original Star Wars trilogy, and the sixth chronological in the Skywalker saga. So, we know what happens. We know what happens between A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back. Okay, now, this is set 1 year after the events of The Empire Strikes Back, which is really interesting because it feels like more time was gone between that. Now, the interesting thing about this is that Steven Spielberg, David Lynch, and David Cronenberg were all asked to direct this movie before Richard Marquand was asked to, direct. The production team relied on a lot of storyboards during pre-production for George Lucas, because I don't think George Lucas had an idea. Because this was actually titled Revenge of the Jedi, which then in turn changed to Return of the Jedi, because George Lucas himself said that Jedis don't get revenge. Now, the whole aspect of this is that we understand Darth Vader is this big Sith villain. Not only that, we find out that Darth Sidious is the one controlling everything and pulling the strings. And, Jabba the Hutt is introduced. And back in the day, for all these nerds, Princess Leia in her slave get-up, or cosplay for that matter, was really sexy at the time. Carrie Fisher was a beautiful woman at the time, and seeing her in that, outfit when she's just choking Jabba the Hutt was interesting. Jabba the Hutt was disgusting, a perv, but he was animatronic, and he was real looking, and he looked scary. Later on in episodes of, later on in other future films, he was just CGI, but Jabba the Hutt here, oh my god, he was different. The dynamic and range of what Luke Skywalker went through in these trilogies, in this first saga, or the Luke Skywalker saga, was very different, because not only that, we saw him go from someone who didn't have anything to all of a sudden becoming this Jedi master. And it was done so well that I feel like Luke's story was done better than Anakin's story. The lightsaber fight scene between father and son, Luke and Anakin, or Darth Vader for that matter, in the end of this movie, with Darth Sidious watching on, and or if you want to call him Palpatine, just looking on, was really interesting. The aspect of the green and the red, and the good and the bad, the light and the dark, it was done so well that it made you think. Now, Darth Sidious, or Palpatine, is just called the Emperor in this. No real name was given until later on. And the other interesting factor about this is that this is the movie where we got the Ewoks. Yes, those little furry, fuzzy creatures that everyone loves. They're really interesting. Their language is Ewokese, and I will do a video of how I personally know the language and speak Ewokese, and what the story is that behind that. It's really interesting and it's fun, and yes, it's based on an actual language that I do speak. Now, back to the Return of the Jedi review, I do want to say that Return of the Jedi as a story was really good. It closed out this for a really long time. We didn't know if we were going to get more movies or what this was, but when this closed out, it's like, wow, okay, wow, Return of the Jedi, what's going to happen? Later, in the 90s and the early 2000s, when episodes 1, 2, and 3 came out, these movies were titled Episode 4, 5, and 6. We knew why. The aspect of what George Lucas went through and how he created all these characters and this world and how he paid the crazy money to it was fun and interesting and insane. He made a lot of money on this, and he's still making a lot of money on this. Even though he did sell it to Disney for close to $4 to $4.5 billion, which was interesting and different. Which was interesting and different. But I'll talk about that in my Episode 7, The Force Awakens review. For me, Return of the Jedi gets 4 out of 5 stars. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about Return of the Jedi or Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the action? Do you think that more characters should have been brought in? Did you like how this closed out the story at the time that we didn't know later on we would get more Star Wars films? And do you think that each character was closed out really well? I mean, not knowing that you would get future movies. It's incredible how this entire saga has become. Also, let me know what rating you would give Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi, and what rating in total would you give the original Star Wars trilogy. Let me know in the comment section below about the questions I just asked, and I'll see you guys in the next review video. And be sure you tune in to my next Star Wars movie review of Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens right here.